I'm here today with 8 bold predictions for College Football 26, ranging from features to modes to even predictions on how the game is going to sell. Now, hit me with your bold predictions for the game in the comments down below, and I'll respond to some of the best ones I see out there. After waiting 11 years for the franchise to ultimately return for us, the amount of hype we saw for College Football 25 was really unmatched for any annual sports game. And personally, I expected the game to do insane numbers, but the best-selling sports game of all time, that was not on my bingo card. And with the release of College Football 26, I'm predicting that it's going to sell a sizable chunk less than its predecessor. That doesn't mean I think the game will be bad or worse than College Football 25. I think it'll honestly be really good, but it's more about the people purchasing the game. The audience for the game seemed to have a large number of people in their 30s and 40s that loved the NCAA football series and grew up with it, and after not having a game to play for over a decade, plenty of people in that audience left gaming altogether as they had families or just lost interest. But when College Football 25 dropped, they were buying consoles solely to relive the glory days of a college football video game. I'm predicting plenty of people that purchased CFB 25 after not playing games for such a long period, they're going to be tough to convince to buy an annual sports title in back-to-back years. The cover athlete for college football is always a big topic, and I've got a big prediction on who it'll be, but hear me out on this one. There's a lot of great options for the cover this year, and I'll have a video on that soon, so make sure you're subscribed if you haven't, but my prediction is that Arch Manning will be on the cover, but there's a little bit of a twist. The Manning family has always been one of the most marketable families for over 2 decades now, and that's about to ramp up a lot with Arch heading into the spotlight at the University of Texas. My prediction is that Arch Manning isn't the main cover athlete, but EA is going to launch something like a legacy edition featuring Arch's famous uncles and his grandfather. EA is likely to spend a lot more development resources on Road to Glory this year after it was kind of missing a lot of fan favorite features last year. And the cover featuring Arch Manning in the middle with Peyton in his Tennessee uniform, Eli in his Ole Miss uniform, and Arch Manning, his grandfather, in his Ole Miss uniform would do numbers. That special edition cover will likely be tied to Ultimate Team rewards to incentivize purchases and also speaks to both Road to Glory and Dynasty mode through creating a legacy in the game for yourself or your team. Did you know that 65% of people who watch my videos aren't even subscribed to the channel? Look, I'm on the road to 300,000 subscribers, and if you're enjoying my content, I'd love to have you subscribe. Hey, it's free, so why not? Road to Glory had some cool features in College Football 25, but man, it was missing so much about what made that mode great. I'm predicting that when College Football 26 drops, we're going to see a much heavier focus on that mode and some massive updates. And let's talk about what I'm thinking will be a massive update. I'm predicting that high school will return as a part of Road to Glory, but it's going to go deeper than that and give us the regular season, playoffs, and even a high school All-American game. The awards that we collect in high school and college are going to be featured in the return of the trophy room. And if you're an OG like myself, remember the Heisman Challenge? Well, I'm predicting the EA is going to bring that back with online leaderboards to let you sort by your position and console to see how you stack up against other players across the country. I can also see them giving us more positions to play, and for those of us who play on defense, we desperately need the AI to target us more. And for NIL, I'd expect them to ramp that side of the mode up a whole lot more to help you truly feel like the guy on campus when you're rising the ranks. Road to Glory is one of the most important modes in the game, and I'm predicting they're going to treat the community right this year. In the older generation of consoles, you could start a game and see the sun go down after a quarter and give you one of those beautiful pink and purple skies. We've all watched a game in real life that didn't have rain in the first half but pours in the second, or snow that happens in the beginning of the game and then tails off towards the end. I'm predicting that this is finally the year that EA Sports will give us progressive lighting and weather in College Football 26. And a reason I kind of believe this is that a big key to me was that this has been on their mind for a while with the inclusion of the quote-unquote natural mental ability in College Football 25. Based on the level your player has, it could be bronze, silver, gold, or platinum, they'll be more resistant to weather effects. So why would you add this feature if you weren't planning to make weather a larger part of the game's experience? Having weather that could start or stop during various parts of the game based on weather trends in different geographic areas would go a long way in creating those classic moments that we all love in the college football series. And while we're talking predictions today, how good or bad are you at predicting how a player will do in college football, the NFL, or any of your other favorite sports? Underdog has been a big sponsor of mine, and when you use code GGB, they'll give you a free pick plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash. The free pick makes it incredibly easier for you to win on your pick'ems, and here's one of mine from last week's college football playoff games. Just like you see in my pick'em that I won over $100 on, just pick higher or lower on a few different players. If you're right, especially with the free pick you get from using code GGB, you'll win some cash. And this week you'll see some free picks like Kevin Durant and Justin Herbert. You can mix and match your sports too, so just make sure to use code GGB to get a free pick and up to $1,000 in bonus cash on Underdog. Having the right coaching staff is critical in college football, and that's why I'm predicting that in College Football 26, EA will expand upon the coaching staff we can hire. Currently, Normally in the game, you can be a head coach, but you can also have an offensive and defensive coordinator on your staff. I'm predicting that we'll get a lead scout / recruiter and a special teams coordinator in the upcoming game. And if you've ever tried to use auto recruiting, it's no secret that auto recruiting in the game was abysmal. Adding a lead scout or recruiter could tie into how good or bad your auto recruiting could actually be, along with giving you a different boost to your recruiting. A special teams coordinator could go a long way in improving your ability to return kicks, your punt distance, punt coverage, and just really the overall success of that side of the ball. My assumption is that the recruiter and special teams coordinator would have a much smaller skill tree to help you really being overpowered when both of those guys are kind of maxed out. And this also opens up another journey for users to start as a special teams coordinator with a limited skill tree and then having to open it up more and more as you kind of move into a coordinator role and then eventually a head coach. For Dynasty fans, the news that you would not be able to export your draft class from CFB 25 into Madden 25 was equal parts frustrating and heartbreaking. It was a staple of the franchise for so long, and to me it's important to EA from a business sense because it drives more purchases to Madden. Back when I got an early look at College Football 25 and I had a chance to talk to EA Sports about why it wouldn't be making it into the game, the conversation was really around a legal hurdle with handling NIL contracts and sort of how it functioned with them being imported into another title featuring the NFL teams. And I'll be the first person to tell you, I'm not a lawyer, but EA has some pretty good ones. And that's why I'm predicting that the beloved feature of exporting draft classes will return with the launch of College Football 26. It's a tricky legal issue, but one that I'd expect EA Sports to have spent a considerable amount of time trying to rectify over the past few months. With everything the development team is looking to add to College Football 26, I'm predicting that the game will not come to PC just yet. And honestly, I hope I'm wrong because I know there's a good portion of sports gamers that would love to have the game on PC and rightfully deserve to have it there. Whether it's modding NIL players and their legal sensitivity there or data mining hidden files, my suspicion is that EA Sports just isn't ready to bring the game to PC just yet. But that being said, I do have hope that we see it in 2026, and I'd be surprised if they use dev resources at this stage while they're working to build out as many modes and features as possible for this game. A comment I've seen on a ton of my videos has been around people requesting that FCS schools get added to the game. And I'm predicting that we will not have FCS schools in College Football 26, and here's why. The development team did a ton of work to have teams feel authentic, but there's still a lot of work to be done. Like, can we add JMU throwing streamers and they score a touchdown, for example? That would be great. But seriously, there were only 50-ish mascots in College Football 25, and with 134 FBS teams, there is so much work to be done to get them all in the game. Entrances for the teams were dope, but when you realize that your favorite school is going to walk out with kind of the same animations each time for their particular school intro, it kind of loses a little bit of its magic. There's also 129 FCS teams in college football right now, so it would be an insane amount of work to get that done in a short development cycle. Think about the uniforms, the stadiums, all the different details they would need for the pageantry of those teams. It is a lot. The majority of players also wouldn't even use an FCS team outside of scheduling them in Dynasty mode, and maybe you have the argument that there should be a feature to bring them from FCS to FBS within Dynasty mode. Well, that's great, but we have so many other things the team needs to fix or add before we get to that point. So yes, FCS teams to the game would be a fantastic addition, but I still think we're a few years out. I'm predicting we will not see them in College Football 26. What's your bold prediction for College Football 26? Leave a like on the video and then toss a comment down below to let me know, and I'll respond to some of the best ones. Be safe, be smart, tell somebody you love them. Catch you guys on the next one.